What's up, YouTube? So I'm making this video today. It was a request by one of my viewers, asked me to make a video on my smoking history. Well, at first it was just smoking history and I didn't quite understand what exactly she was asking. I was like, you mean my personal smoking history or the history of like smoking, like, you know, Europe and Asia and like, you know, the history of people smoking tobacco? And she was like, your personal smoking history. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be smoking a Camel Blue cigarette and going to be lighting it with my brand new Clipper metal lighter, which later today I'll be back in the normal spot, which is just over there, filming my first impressions and thoughts on this lighter. There's some really good things about this lighter that I really like, and there are some disappointments about this lighter as well. But let's go ahead and get this lit up, and I'll start the video. So my personal smoking history, I started smoking cigarettes back around like towards the end of 2015. Or actually, no, towards the end of 2016, just before I had turned 16, actually, is when I tried my first cigarette. And I can remember exactly which cigarette type, what brand it was, everything. For whatever reason, stuff like that kind of sticks with me. Like, I remember it, and I can't ever forget it. So what happened was, I was in a group called Sea Scouts up in Northern Virginia. And this is kind of an embarrassment to admit this, but the first pack of cigarettes I ever actually got was my first cigarette, where it came from. And I pretty much basically stole the pack of cigarettes. There was a guy there at the marina who had like 3 or 4 packs of Maverick Red cigarettes. And they were Kings, sitting there on the table at night. And there was this huge party and everything, and my friends were coming to pick me up later, and I was going to another event with them later, and I was like, you know, it's a now or never, because I was like, I was only 15 at the time, so like going into a tobacco shop there, obviously, and I was a lot shorter than I am now, they'd know I'm just a kid and they wouldn't sell the pack of cigarettes to me. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to get this chance to try cigarettes again until I'm like actually of legal age. So what I did was I basically walked over there, and as I was getting my stuff ready, which was right next to that table, I just pretty much grabbed one of the packs of cigarettes. And actually the next day, I was asked by one of the fellow Sea Scout members, did you take a pack of cigarettes off that table? Because there was more cigarettes on that table before you left than when after you left. And of course, me being me, at 15, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I never stole those cigarettes. I didn't take a pack of cigarettes. And they were like, okay. But so if that person ever sees this video now, well, I guess this is just my admission that I stole that pack of cigarettes. And at that time, I was only smoking like 1 cigarette every other day. Which I smoke a lot more than that now. But, so yeah, my first cigarette ever was a Maverick Red King size cigarette. So that's where it all started. And then, I don't know, maybe a year and a half later, eventually my father found out that I was smoking, and was not very happy about it because I was under the age of 18 when he discovered that I was smoking. I think I was like 17 or about to turn 17 or somewhere around there. And that's when I started smoking Marlboro Red cigarettes, because they were like the only cigarettes in my town that I knew of that actually tasted halfway decent. So I was smoking Marlboro Reds, and actually in my neighborhood where I used to live, Barracks Beach, there's like this more preppy, rich area, and then there's pretty much like the middle class area, and then there's like trailers over in this area, so it kind of like advanced more expensive homes as you went further into the neighborhood. And I'd always walk over to where the rich people's neighborhood was, and I'd always walk, like it would be like midnight, 1 a.m. and I'd always, because that would be the only time where I'm not helping my father work on a Chrysler or something like that, one of his old vehicles that he had, so I wouldn't get caught. And they'd all be asleep until one day when I went out to go walk. I smoked my cigarette as usual, and I came back, and my father was there because he had started getting suspicious, because I can guarantee you he could smell it on my jackets and shit. This was during the winter, and I can guarantee you he could smell the tobacco smoke on my jacket. And I'm sure he knew what I was doing, even though I didn't tell him. And I was like, "No, man, I'm not smoking, man. Don't be accusing me of smoking, man. I'm not a cigarette smoker." Being my dumb, youthful self. And he was like, "Okay." And this is where I really fucked up. And now that I realize how much of a fucking idiot I was, because how he found out is because I took my jacket off when I came in the house. I should not have done that. I should have kept my jacket on, gotten like a snack or whatever, and then gone to bed with my jacket on, because I had my pack of cigarettes in my jacket. And when I took it off, he started asking me, "Well, if you're not smoking, then why are you carrying your jacket around with you as you're going into the kitchen to get a snack?" And he pretty much took the jacket from me, stuck his hand in the pocket of the jacket and pulled out the pack of cigarettes, and he was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." Just me being, my dumb, youthful self. But, so yeah, that's how he initially found out that I was a cigarette smoker. And he was pretty upset. I can't honestly remember if he grounded me because of it or not. I think he did. I think he grounded me for like a week or something, but then he like 3 days in was like, "Okay, just forget about it," or whatever. But I think he grounded me for a week, if I remember correctly. And he also told my uncle, who was a cigarette smoker, and he started at a young age too. And because he wanted my uncle to talk to me about why I shouldn't smoke, you know, because it's bad for you, obviously, and shit like that. And then after that, a few months ago, again, he tried to get me to quit smoking, even though I'm of legal smoking age now. Well, technically not, because I'm 20, and they increased the smoking age to 21 without a grandfather clause for people like me who have been smoking already, which really irritated me, honestly. If you want my honest opinion, like, that was a really fucking stupid decision on the federal government's part to not add a grandfather clause to anyone who is over the age of 18 or like 19, 20, who has been smoking for like a year or whatever. Because once I turned 18, for about like a year and a half, I was legally allowed to purchase cigarettes until they raised the age. So now I have to, you know, look for smoke shops that don't ID or that do ID but still, you know, sell to people who are 18, which there are some in this state that will. But anyway, so the next time he tried to get me to quit smoking cigarettes was actually, again, like technically it was a year ago. And he was like, you're gonna need a car in Boone, which I don't live in Boone anymore, but for the time that I did, he was like, "You're gonna need a car, you're gonna need transportation." And he said, "I will help you purchase a car of your choice if you quit smoking." And I was like, okay, well, when I finally get around to actually buying a car, I'll quit smoking and stuff like that, which I have that 69 Imperial. And I had quit smoking for about, and this was just a few months ago, for about 3 months. and was like, hey, I quit smoking, you know, stuff like that, but I haven't heard anything from him, like from my father, like period, like at all. Like after I quit smoking, didn't hear anything, didn't hear, you know, okay, well, you've come through on your part. So I haven't heard anything. So I've pretty much just decided, well, you know what, if I'm not going to hear anything for like 6 months or whatever, I might as well just pay for the vehicle all myself and just continue smoking, so I can have a vehicle and continue smoking. So that's what I ultimately wound up deciding to do. And then as of recently, I also decided to start reviewing cigarettes on YouTube. And as far as a routine, like smoking routine, and I might as well smoke another cigarette, but as far as a smoking routine, I really don't have like a legitimate routine on how I smoke, but you know, it's just one of those things. Because like to me, I also came to the conclusion that my age now, like it's honestly my life. And again, I understand why he keeps trying to get me to quit smoking. It's bad for you. Like these will kill you. I mean, of course, because of nicotine and the additives that they put in cigarettes, especially in the United States. I know up in Canada and Europe, they're a lot more strict on what can and can't go into a cigarette, but here in the United States, it's a lot more relaxed and shit like that, so they can get away with putting additives and addictive chemicals into this cigarette and shit like that. But and if you're wondering why this clipper has such a huge flame, I filled it up to the brim with butane. And whenever you fill a clipper up to the brim with butane, I have learned that it makes the flame for the first, like, I don't know, day and a half that you're using it, extremely big. So but yeah. And then the first time I ever tried a menthol cigarette was back in 2018. I was at my friend's house and we were drinking. It was, you know, a party, and there was a pack of Camel Crushes sitting on the table out in they had like this little screened in patio. And I remember trying one and I was like, damn, those are actually really good. And so once I actually moved out from my father's house, that's when I decided, okay, well, I can smoke regularly now because I've moved out and shit like that. So, but again, that's when I started smoking Camel Crushes and shit like that, like menthol cigarettes. But yeah, and then after that, like I decided, now that I recently, like just 3 months ago, or maybe like not even a month ago, I can't really remember when it was that I actually started smoking again. I was like, well, since I review cigarettes, I might as well try cigarettes that I have, you know, never had before, or stuff that's unique in order to review on my channel. But damn, these Camel Blues, I'm really liking these Camel Blues. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But yeah. And then also, back before my whole family found out that I was a cigarette smoker, back, again, this was 2017, 2018, I was 16 or 17, that was when I had that pack of really stale, nasty Camel cigarettes, and I would walk from where my grandparents' house is into another neighborhood, and then that neighborhood was fairly small, because like their house that they built, there's like a little bit of woods that you have to walk through, and then you're in the other neighborhood. And I'd always walk into that other neighborhood, and after I'd walk into that other neighborhood, then I would follow the road all the way out to the main highway that was where the entrance to that other neighborhood was. And then there was like a little dirt bike trail and shit by some big telephone poles out there, and I would walk out there, and that's when I actually first tried the first Camel ever that I ever got, and I was like, Jesus, this cigarette tastes horrible. like literally. And again, it was because it was stale and shit like that. But I never got caught by my grandparents smoking. But if I had, my punishment, I can guarantee you, would have been a lot more severe. So I was lucky that I didn't get caught by my grandparents. But at this point in my life, I'm just like, you know what? I mean, if I want to smoke, I'm gonna smoke. Like, it's my life, not my parents' life anymore, type of thing. At least that's my opinion. And I can understand why, like, my father wants me to quit smoking and shit like that. But again, at my age now, I honestly feel that it's my personal choice to smoke. And if I want to smoke, I'm gonna smoke. So, but yeah. So that, I guess, is my summarized history of smoking cigarettes. Because again, when I first started collecting like Zippo lighters, I was not a smoker. Until again, about 9 months later, I was like, you know, I kind of really want to try a cigarette. And honestly, there is some regret. I'm not going to lie to you guys, because now, like, I honestly am addicted to cigarettes, which is really unfortunate. But again, they put chemicals in these to make them even more addictive than nicotine already is. So, but again, I do plan eventually to quit smoking, but as of now, again, like, I'm paying for the car, so it doesn't really matter whether I smoke or not. If, you know, again, it's my life now, so. But that's just my honest opinion, guys. And if you disagree or agree, you can let me know in the comments. But again, I understand why my dad was so, you know, you need to quit smoking. You need to quit smoking, because if you become addicted, you're never going to be able to quit. And to be honest, that may be the case. But you know, it's a decision I made at a very young age, and I regret it to an extent. But I mean, there's no sense really in, you know, crying over it or making a big deal over it, because in my opinion, again, it's my life. So. And my father at this point, I'm sure, has come to that same conclusion as well. But, you know, anyway, so that's going to do it for this video. If you like the video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Anything you do helps, and I'll see you in the next video.